imagine who would postulate such a thing.
What would the greatest sin be?
Yeah, spam. So I think if you take away like cyber terrorism and these kinds of things, which are more like crimes than sins, I think it's actually hating. Like the haters, the internet is like incredible ground for haters, and like amazing, like the level of just like hate just like open like public hate has increased like several thousand-fold since the internet came out. And to me, hating, like the great thing about from a biblical perspective, about like the 7 deadly sins is just like how correct they are, like that they seem like they're good, but they really are going to kill you. And it's like absolutely true. Like it's not like like this isn't something that you should you go to church and you listen to so you go to heaven just because it's true. Like like you don't even have to get to heaven. Like you should listen to that because like gluttony, like you just keep eating nonstop. Like you're going to be the one who's sad. So. Hating is like that. It's a sin like that in that the person that it hurts the most is the hater. Because if you are looking for what's wrong with people, you're going to miss every opportunity, and then you're going to miss all your chances. Because you're going to be in a mindset that like, well, that's stupid and that's stupid and that's stupid, so like what are you going to do then? Like, what's your life going to be about if everything is stupid, right? Whereas if you look at the world like, wow, whatever the silly stuff that guy's doing, like, it does make that really good point. Like, if you look at what's good about things, you just end up with a much better and a much more successful state of being. And so, I think the internet is, like, particularly conducive to hating. So that would be my vote.
No, my favorite email from you was where you referred to me as witheringly judgmental.
I've been trying to beat that out of you.
Yeah. So like, I mean, what's really interesting.
That wasn't actually about Jim's book. I was trying to give him constructive feedback.
The thing that's interesting, right, is that the internet's supposed to connect us all. We're supposed to be more connected. We're supposed to care more about each other. We're supposed to be like, and so why is that bringing out the hate?
Well, I think it is. It's like the other. It's like other sins in that it's your first instinct, right? Like your first. Everybody has that instinct. Everybody. It's almost like a kind of fundamental competitive thing. It's like, oh, well, like, like he may like, she may have like made a lot of money, but like, like what she did was stupid and she just got lucky, like it's like I should have had that money, like it's just kind of the first thing that processes through your mind. So if you want to evolve yourself, you have to think past your first thought. But it kind of is a very dangerous thing all the way around in looking at weakness, right? Like do you look for strength or do you look for a lack of weakness in a person or in a thing or anything? And well, I'll just give you an example on venture capital. So, probably the greatest venture capital deal of the last, 20 years was Google, right? Like, well, like what a great investment that was, and like what a monster company it became. And when you talk to the venture capitalists that passed on it, they consistent, and it was one of the things when we started the firm that I asked everybody, like, why didn't you invest in Google? Because like that would be the great tragedy. Like, if I was a venture capitalist, I would hate to have passed on Google if I had another chance. And what most people who passed said was that Larry and Sergey were like the most arrogant founders that they'd ever met. And it was funny because when I heard that, in retrospect, it's easy for me to say, but I'm like, that's Larry motherfucking Page. I mean, like, it's amazing arrogant. The guy like fixed search on the internet, like he's, and has no fear, and like it was Larry Page. Like how could, come on, like, it's Larry Page. But that's the thing. Like when you looked at Google, did you say these guys figured out how to do search on the internet after like 37 companies and all of these billions of dollars failed to figure it out? That this guy is a PhD who is like absolutely fearless and like the smartest guy in the world, and the guy with him is, Sergey is arguably even like smarter. Do you look at that, or do you say, well, they're arrogant, right? Do you look at strength, or do you look at lack of weakness? And I say that a lot, and people go, well, like, well, then you just have to invest in everything, because you don't look at weakness. But I'm like, no, I look at magnitude of strength. Like, how strong is the strength? And, well, another one, Nation Builder. So this is a true story. Like, this is a true story, and Jim, you correct me if I'm wrong, but there are a lot of deals that, like, as a firm, we might put me on to win the deal. So, like, it'll be a hot deal, a lot of competition, and we'll go, okay, Ben, like, your name's on the firm, you go do the deal so we can win. Nation Builder wasn't a deal like that, because nobody else wanted to do the deal in the firm, or like in Silicon Valley, right? Like, everybody, I was the one guy, right, who wanted to do the deal. And the reason, and I talked to a lot of the investors who passed, and a lot of people in the firm who didn't want to do it, and they, it was one thing after another. It was like, okay, well, like, they're only in politics. Like, how big is politics? Can they ever get out of politics? Like, what about the churn numbers? Is Jim going to die? Like, all these kinds of things. And I was like, okay, yes, those are all potential weaknesses. Although Jim gets stronger every time I see him, so I'm actually getting less concerned about that. But for me, it was like, wait a minute, here's a guy who basically needed to figure out how to lead people to go do something important, did it twice in a meaningful way, and then built software to do it. Like, software for leadership, like, and like, not like for fake, but like for real. Like, for real, like, how could we not invest in that? Like, how could you not invest in something as, like, fundamental as leadership? And, actually, people always ask me, like, well, why do you always, like, talk about hip-hop and business? Like, what the hell does hip-hop have to do with business? But, like, the Nation Builder, like, the thing that I couldn't get out of my head was Heavy D. And, he said, in this life, I strive for improvement, be your own guide, follow your own movement. And that was always one of my favorite lines that I'd ever heard, because I was like, that is my life philosophy. And then I was like, I saw Nation Builder, I was like, oh my God, they put Heavy D in software. Everybody can live life.
On the website.
Everybody can strive for improvement and be their own guide and follow their own movement. And I mean, like, what in life, like, that's how you live the life correctly. You follow your own movement. But nobody can do that, because, like, how do you start it? How do you build a movement? And then, like, well, you buy Nation Builder for a low price.
$2 a month. Starts at $2.
So, to me, that was the strength. And so that was so much bigger than all the weaknesses. So it wasn't, and one of these things is, one of my favorite joke, of course, is what do you get when you cross a herd of sheep with a herd of lemons? A venture capitalist. And so, but that's basically what had happened. Everybody called over, are you investing in Nation Builder? No, I'm not investing in. They called me up. It's like, why are you investing in Nation Builder? I was like, it's Heavy D. What the heck are you not so, like, that was just more money for me. And now, like, at that time, you guys were tiny, and I think, I don't know what the MRR was, but it was probably maybe
$29,000.
Yeah, $29,000. So we're like, what, 20 times, or more than 20 times the revenue, and we're growing 400% a year, and, like, look at all these people, and the business works unbelievable, and it's great. So I really know how to do that. And that's the power of not hating, not looking at weakness, but looking at how strong is the strength. And the Nation Builder's strength, like, off the charts. So
turns out you can learn the rest. Maybe not still working on the withering and judgmental part. but that's an interesting thing, is because you know, we spend a lot of time here, particularly like with staff, and kind of, you know, we have these ideas of ourselves and sort of what it is that we're supposed to do, and a lot of times it's fed by society and parents and sort of things that we think that we want, and we find sometimes that folks like think they're supposed to be one thing and it's actually not, it's supposed to be something else. And the moment we sort of like align somebody with what it is that they really are about, right, with what they do every day, it's just magical, right? And it's just, you know, and finding that in every single person is one of my now great joys. So.
Be your own guide, follow your own movement. It's a Nation Builder theme song.
Yeah, the beginnings of it, like, I had to fund all of this myself for like several years, right? It was only like, where's ramen? Right? Ramen was like basically got like a handful of friends of friends to like give me a little more money so I could keep it going. It was purely based on, oh, Gilliam's gonna do something, right? I had no idea what it was. It was just like, what is that? I have no idea. And it turned out that it's just this like expression, right, of what I believe in. And it was only now that I kind of really kind of grasped that like this is how you're effective, like in the new world. This is how you can make things happen because everyone's connected. So, it's really, really hard to pitch that. Really hard. All right, so I got
well, hard to pitch it to venture capitalists. Apparently easy to pitch to customers there.
yeah, no, they totally get it. Yeah.